So guys, we did it. We reached 10 ruin shutdowns. But that isn't a surprise because I already made the guide for them. Yeah, this is a little delayed as a 100%er celebration, but I had to wait until I had something to say other than that to not have a 30-second video, because my stats aren't that different from when I did the recap, and nothing crazy happens when you hit the big 100, not even a pop-up screen that says, hey, congrats, like the one you get when you enter Prestige Master. You just get to flaunt your cool calling card and think about what you're doing with your life.
Why do I do this? Playing a game more than other people isn't impressive. What is the point?
Alright, so I'm level 277 now, with 10 days, 7 hours of time. I don't think it's worth going through everything again, because, as I said, pretty similar to when I did the recap at level 203. My Dark Ops are the same as well, still not interested in hunting for them, except I do now have the Get Outta Here for that Grapple Ruin shutdown I showcased in the guide. Some people have expressed an interest in seeing my classes, and I don't see myself ever making a dedicated video about class setups, so I'll go through them now. Of course, for most of the game, my classes were all built around challenge hunting. Now that I'm finally done with that, I just have one setup for any DLC weapon camo I might need to work on, then a few guns I find very easy or fun to use, the crossbar of course, sometimes I may swap out the engineer and the launcher for the hybrid mags, depends on the game, it's nice to have for Nuketown for example. A High Cal 2 Auger, I love the 2-shot drop. The Spitfire 2, it melts people. Then Class 5 is my emergency FMJ2 Paladin for taking down score streak spam. Then a Cordite class as well for good measure, cause I just like using it. Melee, which I only use when I'm ranking up melee weapons to max level. I kept the class around for future melee weapons, since it has a pretty specific perk setup. Then a generic Paladin class that isn't about killing score streaks, a couple of blank challenge classes, and then a couple acoustic sensor S&D classes, the Paladin plus melee, aka what everybody uses, dexterity to help with the melee, and another Auger class. High Cal 2 is a must, and I lean on the laser sight a ton, everybody knows I hipfire all the time. Then there's also FMJ this time, since armor is a bit more common in S&D. Basically, overall, if you want to build a class like I do, not like I'm any sort of authority on class building, you should maybe listen to someone who's better at the game, but it always starts with Gung-Ho and Stim Shot, and then whatever fun, powerful primary you feel like using. Almost always have 3 attachments on there. Then comes the Engineer and the Dead Silence, and that last point goes towards either a launcher for taking out Razor Wire and UAVs, or depending on the gun, you may want an optic. That's about it when it comes to how I build a class. So, I may be level 277 now, but I actually got the 100%er over 2 weeks ago. I did have it while working on the shutdowns guide, I just didn't reveal it to keep the suspense alive, and some people were wondering if I had any heist wins left to do, but yeah, those didn't take very long. When I finished Crash Landing, I did still have 15 or so of each S&D and heist to do, and that was back when the most recent Nuketown XP weekend kicked off. Because of that, I didn't rush to complete those wins like I thought I would. Did a mix of that, and also Nuketown when good lobbies were hard to find, but the heist wins I found very easy. In fact, I met some kind folks, the Humanoid and Darth Run, while playing.
Good shit, holy
Pleasure watching you work, bro.
damn, son. That was fucking...
And after that little goof, we ended up adding each other and proceeded to win every single game. For whatever reason, I found Heist to be incredibly easy. Game after game, I was 13-0, 15-0, 14-1. I just bought a 9-bang every round, the Cordite with the first 2 attachment sets, and armor with whatever was left over, and felt unstoppable, which, if you know me, you would know is rare. I'm not actually very good. Also keep in mind if you wanted to copy that buy order, the Cordite might not be as good a buy on console, I don't know. But Heist I found to be a lot of fun. S&D, on the other hand, was a bit of a struggle. I know some people have said they had the exact opposite experience with these 2 modes, but I find the S&D metagame to be hot garbage. Maybe it's worse on PC, but it was lobby after lobby of everyone with their pinpoint accurate paladins and a melee weapon as a secondary naturally. Everyone is ready to either click and delete you from anywhere, or charge up on you and stab you before you can kill them, and that is the class I often used as well, as I showed before. That, or something dumb like the crossbar, it felt like I couldn't compete with anything else. If you've played any CSGO, imagine starting with that, a very competitive game, except now, instead of the op being expensive, everybody starts with a free one. And get this, you don't have any flashes or smokes to knock people off from holding an angle or block lines of sight, except for a 9-bang which might charge up one time in the entire game. And then throw in super speedy one-shot kill knifing boys. And then on top of that, throw in the fact that if a player is earning a lot of score, even if they aren't on a streak, they'll get their specialist weapon given to them at the end, which is often a guaranteed round win for that team. Right when you think a comeback might be possible, nope, too bad, specialist weapon time. Yeah, that sounds like the opposite of fun to me. Ironically, I found it to be worse on what you might consider more competitive maps, like Slums as an attacker. Without utility, it felt like there was no way to move in without walking into a lined-up paladin shot, with the contact points being how they are. I could either do a crazy jump into the lane with my own paladin and hope to react fast enough to hit my own flick before they do, or just wait around and spawn for most of the game until they get bored and start to roam around, but by that point my team is probably dead and I'm very screwed. That was another problem. I know it's the most common complaint ever to say you have potato teammates, but my god, it seemed like I was always up against a full party of pros with my team of taters, even when I was clutching rounds, getting aces, doing my very best, like in this mess of a game. As soon as I was unable to do that, we started losing, people started leaving. What do you know, 3v5 now, even when we still had the lead. I didn't have a good time in S&D, but the challenge got done. It was only 15 or so wins, so everything I'm describing did happen in one day, and I was still on the high of being done with Crash Landing. That helped. So it was okay. I chose to leave one heist win. Since heist felt so easy, I knew I could make my last game a good one. And then, for some reason, I left it like that for a while. Went back to some Nuketown double XP. It just felt good being that close, knowing I could earn it at any time. If you're not using Firebreak on Nuketown, by the way, I don't know what you're doing. But a bunch of levels later, I hit level 250 and figured, I have no idea what I'm waiting for here, I guess I'll go get that win. And that I did. And predictably, it was a very dominant game. I don't know why there's such a difference in skill level between the people I find in Heist versus S&D, but there we go, a clean 4-0. There's the wins challenge going off in the background. No 100%er pop-up of any kind. Even if it wasn't the end of the game, there's nothing in the after-action report about it. But I went over to check my challenges and was greeted by all that wonderful gold and green. All challenges complete. Then there's the thing that always follows that glorious moment. What now? Well, I still had a couple camos to earn on the Demon and the SWAT and the Secret Santa, so I did all those. Needed a reason to use my fancy calling card after all. At the same time, I also unblocked my in-game text chat, which I've had blocked this entire time because I didn't want it showing up in gameplay, but I really felt like I was missing out, and I really was. There's a lot of gold in there, and the amount of salt thrown my way when I'm using something like the old crossbar on Nuketown with my 100%er card, just a stream of people speculating on how little of a life I must have. That's what really makes the grind worthwhile. I think I'll have to leave the chat on from now on. Also, I know some people said they've seen me in game and I ignored them. I'm sorry, but I couldn't see it. Reach out to me anywhere except in-game chat and I'm happy to say hi. Anyway, there's one more thing I could do in this video. Maybe the most exciting thing of all. Yep, you know it. The great spreadsheet of weapon tracking. There is a link to make a copy of the template below as usual. It is the same link as before, but I figured this was a great opportunity to do a complete overhaul. Some smaller changes, like I removed the old column for Mastercraft variants, since they don't have a challenge that you have to do to unlock them anymore, like they did at the beginning. So I found it annoying and pointless to try to keep track of which variants I'd collected. But as for the bigger change, with there now being mastery and reactive camos in all three modes, I have fully fleshed out sections for multiplayer, blackout, and zombies. The paint can, blackout, mastery may be kinda lame, but the reactive challenges are fun, and even though I won't be hunting for paint cans like crazy, of course I'll pick them up when I see them, to get a few gold camos here and there that I can cover up with a reactive. And zombies, I have played a fair amount of now. I even have Green Tiger on 2 whole guns. Amazing! Yeah, the zombies camos are absolutely crazy. This feels like the World War II reticle challenges all over again. But that's everything. This is the end of the multiplayer journey. Every weapon is gold, prestige 2 max level, even made sure those reticle challenges got done too, and the 100%er is now obtained. So, what happens now? Well, for multiplayer, I won't be playing it much at all anymore. I'm sorry if multiplayer is your main interest, but there's just nothing left for me to do here, nothing left to cover. I will keep up with the new reactive camos and DLC weapons, like I'll have the Cap 45 soon, but I won't jump on it right away. I figure I may as well save it for whenever there's a multiplayer weapon XP weekend type of thing. So, I plan to dive into Blackout much more, and perhaps touch on zombies too, although I'm not sure how just yet. As an aside, I have played some Apex Legends as well. I think it's alright. I got carried to a few wins by friends much better than I, and I had fun, but I don't see myself having the time to get super into it, and with the type of content I typically make being guide-oriented, I would need to invest a ton of time to be knowledgeable enough to be telling other people what to do. So for the people I saw asking about that, no, I'm not planning any Apex content for the time being, but I'm interested in what people think about that. For now, I think the focus will be on Blackout, but I cannot say for sure what the future may hold. Once again, thank you for joining me in this 100%er journey through the highs and the lows. I had a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again next year. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.